Hello and welcome to update for Battle Magic number 3. If you remember, if you watched the last episode, well, thanks for watching that one as well. I really appreciate people watching my videos. And we talked about how I wanted to get players moving around on the screen and how I wanted to show text boxes as well to show basic instructions for the tutorial. There are also some bonus points like getting a rudimentary spell menu to display as well as having the player collide with the walls, but we'll see what I've gotten done so far. So this still kind of looks about the same. Nothing really different there. Actually, let me change this to a more full screen size. So at least it looks a little bit nicer. And you can watch me do it. Just comment that one out. Not very exciting, actually. There we go. That looks better. Although probably is a little cut off for the video, but anywho, click on tutorial, and there we are. Let's see what happens. So I want the player to move around, and I did that by right-clicking on the screen. It also scrolls with it, trying to keep the player centered as long as you're not outside the boundary of the level. See, when you're not touching the edge of the level, it just keeps your player centered at all times. I might change this later because it doesn't look like your player is actually moving. It seems like the level's moving, and that's not really the effect I want. Like you can't even really tell that you're moving up and down at this point. It just kind of looks like you're moving side to side, and that's about it. In fact, I thought I was actually having a bug where the player couldn't move up or down initially. So I'll probably change that up a bit so it looks more obvious that you're moving around. Anyway, the second thing I wanted to get done was adding a text box, and look at that. There's one right here at the bottom. As far as this text box goes, I'll probably either make it smaller or make the text a little bit bigger, but as you can tell, the text is also moving outside of the box, and that's really not gonna work. It's just, not only does it look really bad, it is hard to read and isn't very welcoming. It's this size right here as well. It's just too small to read comfortably, so that will probably be modified a bit. However, it is a text box. It displays text and you can read the text, and so for all purposes and sakes, it's exactly what was needed, and so I'm giving myself the point for that anyway. As far as bonus points, I don't have any spell menu, nor do I have any colliding with the walls. As you can see, the player is free to move anywhere outside. No problem at all. So I didn't get any bonus points, but that's okay. It's been quite a hard week for me. Now then, as far as what I've been up to this week, if you did watch the video last week, you'll notice that there was a point where I was having some bugs with the colored text buttons, where some of them were staying lit up or not. And actually, there, I just got it right there. As you can see, I'm still having that problem, but now I know what the problem is. To get into a bit of code, I apologize if you're not into programming, but bear with me. But basically the problem is that I changed the color in my update, which is a separate thread from the Java's AWT event thread. And basically it changes the color of a button if the button's color is already changed, which it sounds really confusing. But the way that the button initially is set up, it's initially white, and it stays white as long as it stays white. As soon as your mouse rolls over the button, the Java event thread tells it to change color, and then now that's already changed to a different color, my update thread says, alright, keep changing that color in the same sync with the title, and as soon as you move away, the event thread tells it to go back to white. So that's where there's a threading issue. Basically, my update thread could still recognize this as being colored even though it isn't anymore, and then the event thread comes through and says like, alright, we're going to make you white now, and then it does, and then it goes back to my update thread which says like, well, I'm going to make you colored because that's what I'm supposed to do and I didn't get a chance to do it yet, and then it stays colored, and then now that it's colored, because the event thread no longer, it already completed its task, it's not going to change back to white anytime soon or ever until you re-roll over it. So that's just a synchronization issue. I'll probably end up changing that later. And as far as why this tutorial is not changing colors, it's just a way that I have the if statements stacked up so that it'll just change the color of the very last button only. So yeah, I know how to fix that bug. I know what's going on. I just haven't fixed it yet for no particular reason. I'll see. I'll close that now. Frankly, I actually don't have much to talk about today. Although I've already hit the 5-minute mark. Time goes by fast. You'll probably notice I actually have a much better microphone now. I actually sound a lot better. Don't sound like I have my nose clogged or that I am. I don't know. It just sounds so much better. I'm hoping this will work out more. Thankfully, I didn't have to pay much at all. It was just a really nice microphone I borrowed, which is really, 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 really great. So I'll just talk about what plans I have for Monday. So I'm going to definitely want to have done that basic spell menu and have the exhorts side of spells done. And if you read the description at any point in time, this game basically has 4 different kinds of schools. There are exhort, which are mostly damage, wex, which are mostly stuns and other disables, quas, which is mostly healing, and rem, which is mostly shields and things. So I'll be focusing on exhort because that's the next part of the tutorial that needs to be done anyway. So getting a basic spell menu, if anything, especially the exhort side, but hopefully getting all of the spells up would be awesome. And having the player collide with the walls, which shouldn't be hard at all. Honestly, I have some really good ideas on how to get that done. I just haven't bothered to implement it yet. As far as bonus points for Monday, if I get the first 2 done as well, I would like to see some triggers to make the text box appear and disappear. I already tried playing around with having the text box fade in and out, but it really wasn't looking good for a couple of reasons. So I'll probably just have it pop in and pop out for now, because really I don't need that that touch of finish yet. It's really not necessary to have it fade in and out right now, just as long as it appears and then disappears at some point in time, so it's not constantly up. And aside from that, I start drawing the user interface. It's actually kind of funny. I completely forgot about the user interface. It'll take up about up to here worth of space, I imagine. I'm kind of just... I already had it drawn out if you saw my very first video where I did a quick paint of what I want the game to look like at the end. There's a little gray user interface at the very bottom showing like your health, your mana, and I want to start drawing some of that, at least have the background and take it from there, see if I can get some of the health and mana bars to start drawing and things like that. And then from there, well, yeah, that's enough. That's a lot of work for only, what's that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days of work. And I also work for real on my paid job during those days too, so it'll be interesting to see if I got those all done. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll put some links in the description, and actually I'll be putting this game up on my website for anyone to download and play. Yes, you can't do anything but move around, but hey, maybe you'll find something fun or find a new bug that I was not aware of. I know there's a little bug where the player will sometimes kind of like freak out, where it'll just jiggle really quickly back and forth. And that's just, I know what that problem is, but I'm not going to explain it right now. Basically, okay, I guess I am going to explain it. Basically, when you click a point like that, the player tries to center on that point, and then it stops trying to center if it's within, I think, 5 pixels of it. And for some other slower computers, which is my other little tiny netbook, it has trouble. It basically either tries to move the player way too much, and then because the time between the updates are so large that it can never actually get to that fine point of being within 5 pixels, so I'll just have to make that range larger. Anyway, you can't even notice that's not centering because it's technically 5 pixels off each time you click, and thereabouts, and you can't even tell. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching.